Hey everybody, welcome back to another digital making at home video. This week our theme is virtual sports. So I'm here with my partner in crime, Zach.
Sup?
And we're going to be making a game called Beat the Goalie. You like this game, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to explain to everybody at home what the game does?
It's basically like a penalty shootout on Scratch. So you move the goalie with the keys, and the ball's going to be moving side to side. If you want to shoot the ball, you press space, and the goalie needs to try to save the football.
Awesome. So it's a two-player game?
Yeah.
Awesome, cool. And you continually beat me at it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to switch across to Zach now. So he's going to be driving as we move across to our screen here. And there you go, buddy. So you can drive. So if you want to just roll down, we've got our instructions open from the project site. And you can get the starter project by going to rpf.io/dm-goalie. rpf.io/dm-goalie. And it'll open the starter project for you. So let's roll down. So we got to our moving the football instructions. So let's scroll down a little bit. And it says here, what's our first thing that has a checkbox? What does it want us to do? So click on our football sprite. Oh, we've got the starter project open already, so you can tick that one. That's a good point. Tick the first box up there. Well done, Zach. And the next part. So we need to select our football sprite. So go across to your Scratch project. Make sure that we've got our football selected.
Yep.
Fantastic. And now back to our instructions. What's the code we have to add?
When green flag clicked, repeat until spacebar pressed. Move 10 steps if on the edge bounced off.
Awesome. Cool. So let's get that going. So events, when green flag clicked, we want repeat until under our control blocks. There it is. Repeat until what? Do you remember?
Touching.
Oh, not touching. We want.
Oh.
That's the one. And what do we want it to do until we touch this? We
Move
want it to go
10
backwards and forwards. Yep. And if on edge bounce. You should find one that's if on edge bounce. There it is down the bottom. Great, man. Drag it in. So you just want to click the little plus on our screen there a couple of times just so people can see our code a bit better. There we go. Awesome. So when green flag clicked, until I press the key, move 10 steps and bounce if you get to the edge. So let's test it and see if our football moves the way we want. Hey.
Yep.
It's going. Fantastic. So stop your project. It's doing what we want. Let's head back to our instructions and make sure we haven't missed anything before we tick that box off. No, all good. We can tick the box. Let's head down to the next one. There we go. We tested our code as well, so we can tick that box too. Okay, so now we need a bit more.
Repeat 15, change y by 10.
Awesome, so let's plug that in. So we want to repeat 15, change y by 10. So repeats under control, that's the way. Repeat 15, clip it to the bottom. That's it, repeat. Cool. And then we wanted to change, which one was it? Was it X or Y?
Y.
Change Y. And which one's Y? Is that the sideways or the up and down?
Up and down.
Very good. So that's under motion, bud.
Oh.
That's the one. So top blue menu. There it is. So keep going up. Change Y by. There we go.
Is it under?
Inside. So what we've got now is if we look at our code, we've got repeat until key space press. So until I press the space bar, just keep moving 10 steps and bounce if you have to. Once I push the space bar, what do we want it to do?
You want it to go up by 10.
Exactly, 15 times. So let's test it and see if that works. So let's get our football to move backwards or forwards. Repeat until Zach pushes the space bar, and then it changes. Awesome, dude. On the way. Oof. Let's go have a look. Back to our instructions. Tick the box. Okay. So what happens if we click the flag a second time? So let's go have a look at our code and see what happens if we click the flag a second time. Oh no, what's it doing?
It needs to go back to its normal.
It's got to go back down to the bottom of the position. Okay, whoa. Okay, so now we've just twisted it. So let's stop it. So what we want to do is when green flag clicked, we want it to go where?
Back to its starting.
Back to its bottom. So grab the ball and move it to where you want it to go. So now if you have a look down underneath our screen, it shows us what our Y number and our X number for it are. Alright, so at the moment it's 147. Do you want to make it an even 150? Just because that scratches one of those itches inside my brain. Perfect, okay. And so now the next thing we want it to do is if we go here, we can go set Y to minus 150 and pop that under your green flag. That's it. So as soon as we start the game, it's going to move it to Y equals minus 150, but we're also going to have a second problem, I predict, if you click go. What's it going to do? Go in a weird angle. So what we want it to do is, what's the next thing we have to have it do?
Go to X position as well.
No, we've got the X position doesn't really matter to us. You could do that if you wanted to, but it doesn't really matter because it's going to be moving across anyway. When you click spacebar, which way do you want it to go? Right, so when you click the green flag, does it go directly across your screen or does it go on a funny angle?
Funny angle.
So what should we have to do to that angle at the beginning to make it work properly? So at the moment it's set to a funny angle. What should we do with that angle?
Make it go straight.
Straighten that angle up. So we could try set rotation style left right and see if that works. So if you grab that rotation style left right and clip it under our green flag, when we click the green flag, see what happens, see if it goes the way we want.
Nope.
Still on a funny angle. Okay, so we don't want rotation style left right, but that was a good idea. What do we want to do? We want to change the direction it's pointing. Is there one of them that tells us point in a specific... There we go. So grab that one and plug that in under our green flag and see if that works this time. Let's test it. Interesting.
Do we need to change that number?
No, it should be okay. So let's have a look. Let's see if we go. Right. Point in direction 90. Set rotation style left, right. Interesting. It's still bouncing around. Why is it doing that? Why is it still doing that? Let's find out.
Yep.
Weird. Works now. Well,
Yep.
there we go. We got it fixed. That's all cool.
Yep.
So let's check and see what we did. So open that up. I need a hint. Let's see what they reckon the answer was. Because we worked out our answer works for us. So let's have a look. Click across. I have a go-to back at the start. Yeah, so we did that, but we only changed our Y. We didn't have it go specific to. But you did mention we could change the X and make it go somewhere specific right back to the corner. Okay. They didn't get the error where it does that weird bouncy thing, but we fixed it like pros. Nice work. Boof. Alright, was it a goal? So that's the next thing now, right? Is we kick it forward and it sits on the goal line, but we need to know whether it was a goal or not. Right? So, how would we know if it wasn't a goal?
It needs to make a bad sound effect.
Yeah,
Or
so that's one thing we can tell our
touching
player.
the goalie.
Right, so if it's touching the goalie, then the goalie's made the save, hasn't he? So what we want to do is, if it's not touching the goalie, then we get a point. If it is touching the goalie, you don't get a point. Alright, so let's have a we need to see what our blocks are. So what do we need for our next part?
If, then else,
Cool.
and a touching goalie.
Let's go grab them and drag them into our code. So we want an if else under control. That's the one that looks like a capital E. There it is. If else, and if what? Oh, so the best way to do that is, right, so we don't want to zoom all the way out because people want to be able to read what we're doing. Right, you can just scroll up and down and we'll go down to here and that's cool. So what does it need to be touching? If touching something.
Touch.
Yeah, that's right, that's the right
Goalie.
block. Touching goalie. Okay, so we've got if else. So if touching goalie, then what?
It makes a bad sound effect.
Okay, otherwise?
Make a good sound effect.
Cool, go for it.
Sound?
Yep. Well, look, we've got two in there already.
What's the rattle?
Play it. Ooh, let me turn up my volume. Try now. You don't like that noise?
I like this. I like the cheering sound.
So is that for the goalie saving it or for the kicking the penalty?
Kicking the penalty and
Right.
the score.
Okay, so when you score, you get a cheer. Okay, so let's add that one. So let's go back to our code. Add the one for if the goalie's not touching it. So if you get a cheer because you win, we want it to...
Make a bad sound.
Well, no, so let's do that because you've got the cheer sound that you like, right? So let's put that in our code and we know that it works. So if you're not touching the goalie, you should play that sound, right?
Cheer sound.
Cool. And what sound do you want if the goalie makes the save?
Dun dun dun.
Find it, pop it in. There it is.
Nope.
Check it. See if you can hit the goalie. Awesome.
Nice.
And what happens if you do it without it doing that? So what happens if, hang on a second, what happens if you manage to get past the goalie and hit the goal line? What happens then? So click the green flag. There it is. And just score a goal. Does the way we want it. Sweet. Let's go back to our instructions. It was a goal. So let's write. There we go. Give it a tick. Haha. We got it right. And then we have a broadcast message, right? So that way we can add some other things to it. So when your goalie makes the save, then we can get a different thing to happen. If the goalie doesn't make the save, then we get something else. So let's add a broadcast into the top one. Yeah, new message. What are we going to call it? Save. Oh, click in the box. There we go. Cool. And then you can just drag that in under done, done, done. And that will tell us, that will send a message out that says the goalie saved the ball for us. Right, so that means that when we get the save, we can have something else happen with the goalie, right? The goalie will receive that message. And what might happen on the goalie if he makes the save?
He will start the bad sound and it will say save.
Yeah, we'll get him to say something cool, right? So let's go check our instructions to see if that's what they reckon, because that seems like a logical progression. So let's tick that one. Haha. Exactly what you said. So, you got good memory. Let's go click on that box. And let's go back and add that to our goalie penguin now. So click on the penguin. Make sure you got the goalie selected. And we know how. How do we know this is the goalie for code now?
Because it shows up down there.
It's blue there
it
and up there. Nice, man. Well done. So when he receives save, what should he do?
Looks. Say save. For 1 second.
Alright, cool. So let's check it. Let's test that now. Click the green flag and hit the goalie. Nice. Awesome. So let's go back to our instructions and see if we got it right. Yeah, give that a tick. He says save. Fantastic. And now what happens when we get a goal? What should happen when we get a goal?
The football. The goalie says goal.
Cool. So we know how to do that. We can easily add that. What else should we get? So go back to our code. What code do we need to add?
Where is it on?
Well, where in your code? So go back to your soccer ball. You were right then. Go back to your soccer ball. Where do we need to put another broadcast, and what should it say?
Down here.
Yeah, and what should it say?
Goal.
Goal. So let's add a new message. Cool. Say okay. There we go. Plug that in. Great. And then back to our goalie to make sure something happens at the other end of our broadcast. So when I receive goal, yeah, cool. What should he say?
Goal.
Cool.
Goal.
For 2 seconds, yeah? You happy with that? That's fine, you can leave it, man. Doesn't matter. Alright, so let's test it now and see if we can score a goal.
Oh, press the wrong button.
Alright, let's check it out. Give it a tick. We didn't need no hints. Should we check the hint to see if we got it right? Or we think we got it right? I'm pretty sure we got it right. Cool.
Yeah.
Go to the next one, show the code.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job, man. Alright. Adding a timer. So, you know how to make a variable, right? Do you remember how to make a variable? Show everyone how we make a variable. We'll call this one timer.
So first you go on to variables, and at the top it says make a variable. You tap on it and do whatever you want to call it. And we are going to call it timer.
Cool.
And then it pop up here all different.
Sure does. So what do we want our timer? So how much time do you want to give your person to shoot as many goals as they can?
30 seconds.
30 seconds, okay. So when we start the game, we want to set our timer to be what?
30 seconds.
And then what will it do?
Then go down.
You'll count down. Well done, man. Awesome. So when green flag clicked, what do we want it to do?
Set timer to 30.
Yep. Cool. And then what do we want it to do? So once it starts counting from 30, we want it to count down every second, right?
Timer by -1.
We do, but we don't want it to just do that one time. So we're going to need a control block underneath our set timer block.
Wait 1 second.
Yeah, that'll be one that we need. That's fine, yeah, so grab it, but we need something else as well, because if it's only going to do it one time at the moment, so we're going to click the green flag, it will set timer to 30, it will wait 1 second, and it will change it by 1, and then it won't do anything else. What's another kind of block we need in there?
Put this one in there.
Okay, go for it.
I think it might work.
So at the moment, we're going to set our timer to 30, and then it's going to wait 30 seconds. Because timer is 30. Do you want a clue? Pull timer out. Yeah, pop that in the bin. We don't need it. We want it to happen over and over again. What's the kind of thing we need to make something happen lots of times?
Repeat.
Now we want to repeat, right? So we could pop a repeat in and we'd say, how many times do we need it to do it?
30.
Okay, so pop that in. Cool. And then clip it up underneath your set timer so it goes around your wait 1 second. That's it. And then what's the next thing we want it to do after it waits 1 second?
Go down.
We want it to go down by 1, so then we want it to change our variable by -1.
Here.
Inside the loop. Cool. Also, look, timer's going up. We want to have it changed by -1. Cool.
Now let's.
It's working, okay. And so what should happen when the timer runs out?
It stops the
Should
game.
stop the game. So that's under control. Let's go to stop. Stop. There we go. Clip that up onto the bottom there. Great. And so once it runs out of time, it will stop everything in our game. Cool. Timer works. Let's go check and see if that's how they did it in the instructions. Yeah, so you can tick that. We added a variable. Set the timer to 30. So they've got to repeat until timer equals 0, which works the same. Okay, it just means you count down until you get to 0, whereas our one does it exactly 30 times. Yeah. Next part. Wait 1 second, change timer by -1. And then they've got it playing a special sound after before they stop everything. Should we add a sound to your one? We add the whistle sound?
Yeah.
Go for it, man, go for it. So check the sounds. Oh, we've got a pop on the goalie, that's okay. Let's add a new sound.
But no, I'm just going to type
Yeah, just type it in. That's it. Cool.
Yeah, this one.
Alright, let's go to our code and pop that in above our stop all. Start sound, referee whistle, and stop all. That's it. Great. So once we get to the end of our timer, it should play the whistle and stop. Yeah? Cool. So let's go back to our instructions. You can tick that one. Yeah, cool. Start at 30 and end at 0. You can change the timer to start at 10 if you don't want to wait for 30 seconds. Should we test it and see what happens when we get to the end of our timer? So change that timer number to like 5 or 3. We only want it to count down real quick. Oh look, but what else are we going to have to change? Right, so that's where their code is more efficient than our code. They only have to change one thing in their code if they want to change it. Our one, we have to make sure both those numbers are the same. 3, 2, 1. Interesting. What happened?
Before it's stopped, or
So what you want to do is you want to swap start sound because it started the sound and then stopped everything immediately. We want play sound until done. That's it. Play sound until done. That's it. And then stop everything. There we go. Let's see if it works now. 4, 3, 2, 1. Way better. So what we want to do now is make sure your timer numbers are 30 again. So timer 30, repeat 30. Okay, cool. Let's go back to our instructions and give them a tick. Tick, tick. Excellent. Okay, so we've got all those sounds, everything's going. We've got our timer working, which will stop it. So let's roll up a little bit and make sure that our code looks the same. Yeah, we've got all that, don't we?
Yeah, but it's not together.
Yeah, it is. It's all on our football, though. So now what we want is to add a score. What's another thing we're going to have to make to keep score?
Another variable.
Another variable. What are we going to call this one?
Score.
Score. Awesome. So now we've got timer and we've got score. So what are we going to do with score?
We are going to make it go up
When?
every time we score a goal.
Cool. So where in our code does it check to see if we score a goal?
Here.
Not quite, right? So he receives a message that tells you that there's been a goal or a save, but he doesn't check. Exactly right. The right place there. So what we want to do now is you want to have, when we have a cheer and then we have our goals broadcast, what should happen?
The score go up.
By how many?
1.
Cool. Pop that block in. Oh, we don't want to set score. We want
Change.
to... Yeah, cool. on the goal. So inside the loop, that's it. So now every time you score a goal, it will change the score by 1. But what happens when we start our game again?
It will be 5 seconds.
No, not with our timer. We're talking about with the goals. What will happen with score if we click the green flag? What do you want it to do when we click the green flag?
Go up.
So let's say we play a game, we're playing penalty shootout, I score 5 goals, you click the green flag, it's now your turn to score. What should the score do? Should it stay at 5 goals?
No, go up.
It should go up when we start a game.
No, it stays the same when we start the game.
Okay, so it's my turn and I shoot 5 goals and now it's your turn, but the score still says 5.
Go back to 0.
Right, we want a new game to have our score go back to 0, right? So make sure that you've got one of those in there. Should be underneath your green flag. So roll up a bit in your code over here. Find a green flag somewhere, that's it. So you can use that one on the right. And we want to do what to the score? You can just clip it to the bottom. What do we want to do to the score? So leave that where it was. That's cool. What do we want to do with the score now when the great game starts again?
Want it to go back to 0.
Grab that block, set score to 0, clip it across on the bottom. Yep, that's perfect too. As long as it's in that clip somewhere. So when you click the green flag, score goes back to 0, the ball starts moving, and you can try and score goals, right? Should we test it? Alright, so go back to our goalie. Let's change our timer to be something short, like 10 seconds, and our repeat to be 10. So you've got 10 seconds to try and score as many goals as you can. Ready? Go. Score went up. Score went up.
It stays there.
Ah. So we got an issue. Interesting. Let's go back to our football. So now at the moment we can only score 1 time. What do we need to add? Should we go back to our instructions? Let's have a look. Maybe we missed something. So go back 1 to goal. Yeah, okay. Because at the moment we've got it clicking. So let's go to adding a score. Cool. Okay, so we need to set it. We should add 1 to our score every time a goal is scored. But we want the ball to go back to the line and start over again, don't we? So if touching goalie, what do we want it to do?
If touching goalie.
There's one thing we can add to make it do all this over and over again. What can we add to make it just do this all the time?
Forever.
Forever. So if you grab a forever and clip it around this whole thing underneath this green flag. Now try. Look, our ball's bouncing off the line. So we click the green flag, score goes back to 0. So that's good, but one thing we want to fix is we want to have it's bouncing off the line again. That's super interesting. Let's pop that in here and see if it fixes it. Try now. Repeat until, okay. We don't want it to point in direction 90 there. We want to get rid of that because it will forever count. Okay, try now. Let's go. Oh man, it's doing that weird thing to us again. Okay, so why is it doing that? Let's find out. Try it now. It automatically jumps off the line. Why is it doing that? I don't know. We'll fix that in a sec though, alright? Let's have a look. Control the goalie. Let's do this part and I'll think about why that's not working. So make sure you got the goalie selected. Yeah, wow, well played. So just clean it, do a right click and clean up blocks. That's the way. Roll down a bit. Cool. Right, you could also use change X by if you wanted to do it that way, and it would mean that even if it points off a funny angle, it won't. Sorry. I think I know how to fix that, by the way. I think we can fix that ball going off. Cool. Now what else do we need for the goalie? So he can move left. But which way is he going?
He's
going the wrong way. What do we need to change? So you've got your left arrow touching, but he's going this way. What do we need to change X by? Not 10. We need to change X by. So 10 makes him go this way. We want him to go the opposite way. What should it be?
-10.
-10. So we just make sure it's a minus at the front. Cool. And then we can duplicate that left arrow key pressed. And what should the other one be? And what should the number be? Awesome. So now let's test him again. There he is. Yeah, he's back. Nice. And then our ball goes off on that funny wonky angle for us. So let's find out why it's doing that. So let's make sure when we move the football, move 10 steps, if on edge bounce. So that's right. Change Y by 10. That's right. Why is it going off on a funny wonky angle for us? Oh, I know why. I know why.
Why?
Because when it goes back to the beginning, what happens is it touches this bottom edge and it bounces off. Right, so what we want to do is we want to go here. Let's make sure that that is actually not quite as small. So minus 140 something.
Yep.
Let's test that and see if that fixes it. I think now it won't bounce off the bottom edge. Timer ran out. Score went to 8. But everything stopped moving. The ball doesn't bounce in funny directions. I wasn't trying to drive the goalie, but I will in a minute. Now when we click the green flag, what should score do?
Go back to 0.
Let's check.
Yep.
Cool.
And you know if you hold it, it goes quicker.
Ah, you got me. I think 10 steps is a little bit too short for the goalie to move. Just saying. I kind of got wrecked then. Alright, so we've worked it all out. We've moved the football. We've added a score. We can control the goalie, and now there's manual control. So instead of the ball moving left and right automatically, could you get someone to control the ball by using the A and D keys?
Ooh.
What do you think? Should we have a look at the hint?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, instead of the ball moving left and right, can you allow your player to control it? To do this, you'll need to remove the code for moving the ball left and right. Look, which is the bit in our code that needs to be moved.
Move 10 steps and if on edge bounce.
If on edge bounce. So let's have a look. Alright, so take that piece of the code out.
Oops.
So inside that bit there, repeat, because space is when we want it to hit, right? What do we want to add instead? So instead of it just constantly bouncing backwards and forwards, what do we want it to do? Awesome. Oh, no, not that one. So we need a if block for control. So if what happens, we want the ball to do something. So if then, inside your repeat loop. That's it. So if what? We want to try and drive with the button. So if I push the A button, what should happen? What should the ball do if I push A?
Move left.
Yep. So you can change X by how many? No, you're right. Motion's correct. Change X by
-10.
Cool. And what should the other one be if I push something else?
When I push.
So usually we use A and D for those sorts of things on your side.
Yeah.
So if you copy, duplicate the if block and clip a new one in underneath. Oh, not inside, underneath it. That's it. Bang. Cool. So let's check it now. Green flag.
Yep.
Cool. Now I can move my way. Pretty good. 6 goals in 10 seconds. That's pretty good. So we've got motion control on the ball. We've got motion control on the goalie, who I still think it had bigger steps, by the way. Just saying. All right. And we've got the ball moving, so people can move it backwards and forwards. Okay. So they used -5 and 5 in their one, but we used 10, so that's pretty cool. And so what are some other things you reckon? What are some ideas you've got where you could add things to that project? What other stuff could we get it to do? We won't do it today, but what other ideas you reckon you could have on it?
Like, it gets smaller, like it's getting closer to the goal.
Cool, yeah.
Away from you.
What else could we do, you reckon? We could have a certain thing, like when you score 10 goals, it plays a special sound.
Yeah.
Or we could do a bunch of stuff, really, couldn't we? Can you give anything else?
I've got a song we could do.
Yeah, you want to put a song on it?
If you score 10 goals.
Yeah. So this one here recommends we do the Ada Poetry Generator Scratch project, which is that story creator that we made before. We already done this one. We made that awesome story creator before, do you remember? Yeah. And so are there any tips that you would give people about using this Scratch project? Are there any sort of ideas that you would give them or pointers to remember while you're doing it?
No.
Not really? Just listen in and follow the instructions?
Yeah.
Do you reckon that was a pretty easy one? Yeah? Me too. I think you did really well on that one. That was cool. So thanks for tuning in this week, everybody, with me and Zach. We hope you had a good time making Beat the Goalie. Remember to watch the live streams and stuff. We have them on Wednesday afternoons at 2 p.m. And we're also doing a whole bunch of different content through rpf.io/home. Remember to share your work with us. Get in touch. We're looking for people to do things like come on our live stream as guests with some of their cool projects. And if you're making things that are really great, enter them in Coolest Projects this year. You never know, you might win an award and get to travel around and see a whole bunch of different people's projects all online. So, yeah, catch you later, everybody. We'll see you next week.